Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this Lloyd's List business briefing, and welcome to this inaugural Hong Kong Maritime Week. We have an agenda-setting event for you here this afternoon. Our two panels are made up of some of the smartest minds in the business, and with your help, we're going to walk out of this room with a better idea of what happens next in this most tumultuous of markets.
Interesting, we're talking today about the future, but I think there's a lot we need to do today to position us nicely for the future. And what's happening now is a lot of changes in our industry, which will be the future. We'll discuss it now, I'm sure. But we need to get this industry looking good and away from the negativity, because it, as you said, and as Mr. Chung said, it's so important trade, and ships carry 90% of all cargo.
Now it's more important than perhaps ever before to look into the structural changes and how the demand side is going to evolve, and how the sectors are going to rebound, and the sub-sectors within the sectors. For example, if you look at the container market, Trump is just one variable affecting the future demand side on container negatively, but there are various shocks to the container demand side, and literally all of them are affecting in a negative way.
In China at the moment, there is a massive thing going on with oil, with coal-fired power stations, and the fact that we have dirty coal. Australia is now shipping cleaner coal and cheaper iron ore, which means that bunker rates have gone up. So, you know, we can never disregard China, because China is fundamental. Trump coming to power, will that hinder or be a positive? And I think it will be a positive for China, because the Trans-Pacific Partnership, according to Trump, he's going to tear it up, which means that at a stroke, Obama loses his Asian pivot. So that means that a lot of the strategic worries which China otherwise had, to some extent, are lessened. One Belt, One Road had strategic objectives involved as well, and the fact that America is now going to become more isolationist, I think will give more impetus to One Belt, One Road.
We've seen the consolidation happening in the container lines, and to a large extent, it's driven by the companies themselves, just in such a bad shape in the balance sheet and profitability. What do you think? Will it ever happen in the dry bulk sector?
You know, I'm one for it, but I can tell you it's not going to happen. And I've stopped writing about it anymore. The simple fact of the matter is that today, with the very large ship management companies that are there, you don't need to have a management team. You can subcontract that work out. You don't have to behave like an old-fashioned ship owner like we are. You don't have to do everything in-house. And the more of this that takes place, the less the chance of consolidation there is. Because it's just going to fragment the market. You just need a little bit of cash, buy one ship.
Well, I think
give it to a ship manager.
But that could be the point of this question, is that I think that could be tougher going forward in the future.
I don't think so.
Well, we'll see.
I don't think so. I mean, from the banking point of view, yes. For a smaller ship owner will be difficult. But I think for every other aspect, it's an easy market for you to enter into.
I'm very pleased to have some real movers and shakers on my panel this afternoon, high-profile names that we often see in the press and experts in their respective fields.
I think one of the things that has been evident from what I hear regarding shale oil production in the US is that the costs of production have come down very, very markedly compared to 2 or 3 years ago. So that actually will make a lot of that production viable, or potentially viable, going forwards. And that, then the question will be, what happens to that new supply? Does it actually lead to reduced import of crude, firstly, potentially, but equally, I think with the infrastructure that's being developed in the US, potentially export of product.
For dry cargo, I think ships will not be retrofitted. I think the bunker industry will adjust. It's a lot smarter to produce the cleaner fuel at the source than to clean it up on every single ship in the world. I think it will be positive, counterintuitive as it may sound, because it will increase the oil price, it will increase the fuel price, and that is very positive for speed. So the higher the fuel price at any given freight rate level, the lower the speed, which reduces supply, which increases the market.
Personally, I think it's a good sign to see the Trump become the coming president of the U.S. It's also give the direction for the BDI. Use the word. I like the word surfing. It's because finally the K price go back to the 20,000 US dollars. But just the personal projection, we think even go further in the coming few years. And one of the things about China also is we talk about a lot of shipping. We talk about also the commercial. But first of all, China is a political country, and everything has to depend on our one man, the president.
What is Hong Kong doing to promote its role in One Belt, One Road? What specifically is going on so that it becomes a centre of dispute resolution, so it becomes a transport hub?
I think it already is a centre of dispute resolution, isn't it? It's probably the prime one. David?
What is Hong Kong doing about One Belt, One Road? Well, the government set up scholarships for students to come from overseas countries that form part of the One Belt, One Road to come and study here. The Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank is recommending Hong Kong as a place for arbitration, and mediation in Hong Kong is very important as well.
If you look at the market of particularly 2017, we're seeing that the Pacific trade is growing to the tune of 3 to 4%. Capacity may grow to the tune of 4.5 to 5%. We see the Europe trade grow to about 2.5%. Capacity more or less growing in line with it. From the alliances that have announced their capacity already, that the supply-demand difference is diminishing, is reducing. So 2017 has a lot in the making for a positive year.